YouTube, we are so fucking close to Avengers Doomsday. I can taste the Spider-Man, the Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts in my mouth, bro. I can't wait for this movie. And we had a panel yesterday for Disney or whatever. And you know Disney bought Marvel and all that jazz. So you know Marvel has some news about Doomsday. And from what I heard, some people saw the first trailer of Doomsday. So we're going to see the breakdown and all that shit. And see Robert Downey Jr., the GOAT himself, do all this shit. So I'm so excited. Let's go. His sassy ass. He said, the GOAT. Oh, you. Yeah, it's that time.
Just checking. My God, here we are. CinemaCon is on!
CinemaCon, that's what it was called. He was so sassy walking out. Y'all saw that? He knows he's that nigga. Oh my God. Alright. And then New Rockstar dropped the video. You already know. We got to see the New Rockstar breakdown. You already know. Come on, Eric. Talk to her, brother. Talk to your favorite person.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown and description of the Avengers Doomsday trailer that I witnessed firsthand at CinemaCon. This trailer was insane. Woo! Far more explosive and thrilling than any other first teaser Marvel Studios has ever kicked off a movie with.
Right.
I cannot wait for Marvel Studios to upload this to their YouTube channel so that you can all see what I saw. I really don't think it's going to be that much longer, but in this video, I'm going to do my best to describe what I saw after Marvel generously showed it to us twice in the Dolby Coliseum, which allowed me and Jessica Clemens to write down even more notes. And I think I have you covered with a pretty comprehensive summary of everything we see and hear in it. Now, tomorrow night, I am inviting all of you to join me live in person to talk about this and enjoy just a great live show that we are putting on at the UCB Theater in Los Angeles. It's going to be tomorrow, April 17th at 7 p.m. Remember when Robert Downey Jr. was first announced as Dr. Doom at Comic-Con in 2024? Right before he revealed himself, someone in the crowd yelled, "Jared Leto?" And if you found that hilarious, you are gonna love the staged reading we do tomorrow night of 2022's Morbius. You can watch this live in person, or for a discounted price, you can watch a live stream of it wherever you live, and for up to 7 days after the show. But if you do come in person, I promise I'll hang out with any of you afterwards for any questions you have about Doomsday, or any photos you want to take, or any questions you have. Let's hang out. A few tickets are available, and the link is in the description. Okay, this trailer opens with the shot of the X-Mansion gate sign, the one that was discarded in the dirt and rubble that we saw in the third teaser in December. This sign reads, Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, 1407 Gray Malkin Lane, Salem Center, Westchester County, New York. Yes, it's the exact address of the X-Mansion in the Fox X-Men movies. Kevin Feige said on the panel that Avengers Doomsday picks up where Endgame left off, but also finally delivers on the crossover event with the X-Men that fans have been waiting for. So that confirms it. The X-Men in this movie really are the X-Men from the Fox film continuity, last seen played by these actors in 2014's X-Men Days of Future Past. And for the first time, we hear Robert Downey Jr.'s voice as Victor Von Doom. The line he says is this: "Something's coming, something we may not be able to deter. Before this day is done, we shall be facing the time."
I don't even hear his voice, but I can just imagine what he's saying.
We hear
something's coming. It's evil. It's real. It's boom.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Robert Downey Jr.'s voice as Victor Von Doom. The line he says is this: "Something's coming, something we may not be able to deter. Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision." But he actually does it in kind of an accent, so it kind of sounds more like, "Something's coming, something we may not be able to deter. Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision." I know when you hear it, it's gonna sound a lot better than that, but Downey is 100% doing his version version of a Latvian accent, a voice that he has never done in any film role ever before. So immediately gone are any concerns that this guy will just be Tony Stark in our eyes and ears forever. Robert Downey Jr. is a versatile actor who can play several types. But hearing Dr. Doom say this is interesting because it kind of sounds like he's arriving with a warning, trying to get these heroes on his side, which is totally at odds with the shots of him fighting Thor in other parts of the trailer. But then we see Professor X in a similar spot of the X Mansion in his wheelchair with the new red X logo on his clothes, looking out of the windows as we saw him in the third teaser. But definitely here you can see a red globe appearing across the sky, and now fire kind of lights up the atmosphere over the mansion, forcing Charles to have to shield his eyes. And apologies because that and what I'm about to describe I don't really have any reference imagery for, but I do think you can look at this promo banner poster art of Doom's armor. That is definitely accurate to what we see Doom look like in the trailer. So imagine that in our first shot of Dr. Doom. We finally see him. He's in a side close-up, kneeling and raising his hooded head, and we see the clasps of his cape and the profile of his mask, and he seems to be rising in the gardens outside the X Mansion as a dim sun peeks through the red haze of the sky behind him. I believe pretty much all the shots we see in this trailer, the sky is red, which is what incursions look like in Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out storyline going into Secret Wars. It also reminds us of the red crescent that we saw in the sky of the post-incursion reality in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So now the Marvel Studios logo appears, starting with a classic red background, but then the red shifts into a black background. And then we see an exterior of the new Avengers Tower. It is this tower, 14 months after Thunderbolts. Remember when Val was in the process of turning it into the Sentry Watchtower? That reconstruction was still underway in Thunderbolts, but we did see a nighttime version of this tower in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 Episode 1. Now the tower has the new Avengers logo. Remember the new logo with the sharper white A on the red background that was on the blast door of the penthouse level at the beginning of the Thunderbolts post-credit scene? So imagine that logo huge on the side of Avengers Tower. But now we see a circular door opening and we see the Fantastic Four, Reed wearing a white jacket that I believe we've seen in some tote bag concept art of him, with the other members of the Fantastic Four and Thor behind him. It looks like they're coming out of their spaceship that we saw in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. That would be kind of crazy because
so Thor was what?
Bag concept art of him with the other members of the Fantastic Four and Thor behind him. It looks like they're coming out of their spaceship that we saw in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. That would be kind of crazy because it would suggest that Thor begins this movie by going to the 828 universe with the Fantastic Four, meeting them in the Baxter building. Maybe he connects with his family after his daughter Love is taken and their son Franklin is taken. And then that group of 5 will go, I guess, to the 10005 universe and meet the X-Men. And then maybe a lot of those X-Men are going to die fighting Doom. That's what scares Thor so much, and then he and the Fantastic Four end up retreating to the 616 universe. I think that's going to be the first act plot structure. But anyway, Thor plus the Fantastic Four walk into the Avengers Tower penthouse that we saw at the end of Thunderbolts, and we see Sam Wilson suited up with the shield strapped to his back, Bucky, who's wearing his new suit with the red star on the sleeve that we saw in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, and Scott Lang in his Ant-Man suit. Then we see a wide shot of this room where red sunlight is again coming in from the windows, showing the full assembly. On the left are the Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers, with John Walker in his new beret, Alexei Shostakov in his ridiculous product placement covered jumpsuit, Yelena Belova, I think Bucky's in the background, and Ava Star Ghost. Remember, they're in a feud with the old Avengers, who we see on the right of this shot, Scott Lang, Sam Wilson, and Thor, and I assume Joaquin Torres Falcon is behind them. Then in the middle, in the background, standing on the higher level, are the Fantastic Four. Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben. And then on the screen wall behind the Fantastic Four, the same screen where the Thunderbolts saw the Fantastic Four ship, is some kind of display that looks like 3 circles all connected together in the middle by lines. And I think this is taken directly from Reed Richards' multiverse explanation and definition of incursions that we saw in Jonathan Hickman and Steve Epstein's New Avengers Volume 3 Number 2 from 2013, where Reed explains to the Illuminati incursions in what was almost a word-for-word explanation of what John Krasinski's Reed Richards echoed from the Illuminati dais in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is going to be a moment where Reed just kind of explains how these 3 universes are colliding. Over all of this, lasting through the end of the trailer, Thor gives an angry speech that sounds more pissed off than Chris Hemsworth has ever sounded as his character. He says, "I fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger than all of us put together, and they died. They died facing enemies and threats that scare me far less than this one. Everything they sacrificed will be for nothing if we do not stand together. Put aside your petty squabbles. Presume nothing except this. If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters. But mark my words, we're going to need a miracle. So by the warriors he's fought alongside, Thor must mean Iron Man Tony Stark, Natasha Romanoff, Loki, Heimdall, Vision, and Gamora, and I guess Jane Foster's probably lumped in there too, along with the Warriors 3. And Odin. Yeah, in addition to the heroes who died in Infinity War and Endgame, Thor also lost pretty much all the Asgardians that all these other Avengers didn't really get to know too well.
It is so hard for me to establish
I'm sorry,
boundaries.
Eric,
As soon as somebody asks me for something, I find myself
putting
putting what they need before what I need. Sometimes that's not a problem.
Get your money.
No,
Add. Cool. Get me to Avengers. I skipped too
your
much.
first month of therapy.
We see some shots of the Wakandans set in that same location that the 4th teaser was set, where Namor is on his throne. Yeah, it's the same throne with a giant megalodon jawbone around it that we saw in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We see Shuri looking up at him, looking over at M'Baku, and then armoring up in her Black Panther suit as the Wakandans surround Namor on his throne in a threatening stance. There's definitely red skies in the background here too. Then we see Thor landing with Stormbreaker in the gardens outside the X-Mansion, beside one of those broken statues that you might have seen in some aerial set photos. It's definitely outside the X-Mansion, and we see Stormbreaker igniting with lightning as he approaches Dr. Doom in the background. But before he gets there, an explosion rips through the stairs of the X-Mansion, and we see a new shot of James Marsden Cyclops with his more comic accurate looking suit as he begins to light up his eyepiece, but not fully blasting out of it yet, as he's just kind of checking out what this is. Then we get this shot of Channing Tatum Gambit with his staff glowing purple as he duels with Shang-Chi, his rings glowing orange. Shang-Chi defeating Cyclops with his more comic accurate looking suit as he begins to light up his eyepiece, but not fully blasting out of it yet, as he's just kind of checking out what this is. Then we get this shot of Channing Tatum Gambit with his staff glowing purple as he duels with Shang-Chi, his rings glowing orange.
Chung-Ji, bro.
Gambit with his staff glowing purple as he duels with Shang-Chi, his
We have history. Me and Chung-Ji, we have history, bro. I don't like this movie, but if he do good in this movie, bro, he might be cool. He might be up there.
But not fully blasting out of it yet, as
But,
he's just
my
kinda
gosh,
checking out
this
what
set
this
list-
is. Then we get a shot of Channing Tatum Gambit
for
with
the
his
surprise.
staff glowing purple as he duels with Shang-Chi, his rings glowing
I hope
orange.
Toby's in it.
Shang-Chi repels the staff with his rings. 2 rings fly off to push Gambit back and then float back onto his arms as Gambit now holds out a glowing ace of hearts, shaking his head as if to say, don't try it, mon chéri. It is crazy. I cannot figure out why Shang-Chi is here in this moment. Did Shang-Chi go to the 828 universe with Thor to meet the Fantastic Four and then to the X-Men universe? Also, is Shang-Chi gonna die in this movie? Oh god, I hope not. Then we see the shot that led off the 4th teaser. Shuri's back as she walks out in the Bahraini desert. Now, when that 4th teaser came out, some viewers suspected something was left out of that shot because the background just looked a little odd. And indeed, they were right. But it wasn't the Fantastic Four, though. It was the fact that this entire background is actually surrounded by a wall of water in the final shot. Someone, maybe Namor, maybe Sue, maybe the effects of Dr. Doom or the incursions, has pushed back the seawater, kind of like Moses parting the Red Sea, forming a huge ring and drying out the entire Talokanil kingdom. That's why Namor's throne and the pyramids of their underwater city are now in open air, as we saw in the 4th teaser. The shot of Shuri and M'Baku shaking hands with Ben Grimm, the Thing, from the 4th teaser, well, this trailer shows that Ben is actually backed by Sue, Bucky, Joaquin Torres Falcon, and probably some of the other combined forces from the surviving Avengers in the Summit and Avengers Tower. Now we're back in the X-Mansion, where Yelena draws her gun as Reed has stretched out his arm in his white jacket to restrain Sam. Joaquin or someone else is behind Reed here. We see Yelena approaching Mystique, and Rebecca Romaine looks far more comic.
What?
Surviving Avengers in the Summit and Avengers Tower. Now we're back in the X-Mansion, where
Mystique. Bro, they showing everything, bro. I hope Toby's in this. I hope Hugh Jackman, I hope Deadpool's in this, bro. Bro, please, bro. This movie looks, bro. This movie's so promising so far. Oh
Yelena draws her gun as Reed has stretched out his arm in his white jacket to restrain
about to
Sam,
cry.
Joaquin, or someone else.
We are so back. We are eating.
Behind Reed here, we see Yelena approaching Mystique, and Rebecca Romaine looks far more comic accurate here than she ever has. She's wearing the white jacket top with very shortcut, bright red hair, and then she catches Yelena's thrown baton, and then, as she holds it, shapeshifts into Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova. And now we have two Yelenas choking each other. Then we see the shots of Charles and Magneto in the mansion from the third teaser as they seem to be embracing their fate. And then the shot of Scott Lang as he kisses the forehead of someone with long blonde hair. It kind of looks like Catherine Newton Cassie, but she would have had to dye her hair since we saw her in Quantumania. Then there's a close-up of Johnny Storm as he hugs his sister Sue, and then a shot of Sue Storm nodding in that ocean-clear desert area as we cut to the shot that ended the fourth teaser of Shuri saluting, proving my theory right that Shuri's nod and salute at the end of that fourth teaser was directed to Sue Storm. Then there's a shot of Sam Wilson landing inside the X-Mansion as he looks up at what? Gambit flipping down from the higher level, where we see the X-Mansion now has a stained glass roof, and Gambit slams his staff on the ground, releasing a shockwave. I mean, I don't really know. It seems like there's gonna be a lot more Avengers in the X-Mansion than just Thor. But then we cut to the shot from the third teaser of Cyclops outside the X-Mansion, releasing his optic blast as Sentinels stomp behind him, and one severed Sentinel head is to the right. Now, if Doom is in this exterior garden location, the speculation that Doom has used runes to hijack Sentinels could be accurate. Then there's Sue in close-up emitting a force field, but I'm not sure the context. Vanessa Kirby makes the same expression she does when she was restraining Galactus with her force field casting at the end of Fantastic Four for Steps. And then there's a shot of Namor flying fast around the wall of water that cleared the area. Then we see Thor doing kind of a recreation of his big leap and swing at Thanos in Infinity War when he did the overhead tomahawk chop with Stormbreaker. But here he's bringing down Stormbreaker on Dr. Doom in these gardens outside the X-Mansion. But Doom just calmly puts up two fingers, his index and his middle finger pressed together, and just stops Stormbreaker right in its tracks with a quiet clink, forming a line that all of that lightning cannot penetrate. And under his index and his middle finger pressed together,
I got to see
and
the
just
trailer. I
stops
got to see the trailer. I
right in
got
its
to see the
tracks
trailer.
with a quiet clink, forming a line that all of that lightning
He's
cannot
dangerous.
penetrate.
This
And
nigga's
under his
dangerous.
metal Doom mask, we see Robert Downey Jr.'s angry green eyes as Thor, unable to push further, screams in frustration. And on the very end of Thor's speech in this trailer, where he says, "We're gonna need a miracle," now we see Mjolnir being held by Thor, suggesting that Stormbreaker might have just been destroyed, and kind of a reversal of Hela destroying Mjolnir in Ragnarok, forcing him to go back to his original hammer. And we hear a familiar voice saying, "Hey, pal." And Thor says, "It's not possible." The hand of the person he's talking to opens up and Mjolnir zips out of Thor's hand into the open hand of Steve Rogers. Yes, Chris Evans is here, and he looks young. He's got long hair and a beard, kind of like how he looked in Infinity War, but the beard has a lighter trim. He does not look like how he looked in the 1940s in the very first Doomsday teaser. He's wearing modern clothes. Yeah, Thor's probably very confused how this old man who supposedly went back in time and stayed back in time is now in the present day crisis. Your guess is as good as mine how Steve Rogers is here, but I will explore it in an upcoming video. The trailer ends with the Avengers Doomsday logo and Alan Silvestri's theme, and lastly, the text 12/18/26 is Doomsday. Yes, despite all the hoopla around Dune Part 3 and how good that movie is going to be, Avengers Doomsday is sticking with the exact same release date of December 18th. It's going to be a wild day to see movies in theaters. And speaking of this countdown, every Saturday here on the New Rockstars channel is a new episode of our Road to Doomsday Marvel Rewatch series. And this Saturday is going to be a big one, our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode. You're definitely going to want to watch that one. So yeah, there are a lot of theories and implications that I'm going to be able to pull from this in videos in the days and weeks ahead. And when this trailer drops online, you know I'm going to do a proper frame-by-frame analysis of it. And please support New Rockstars with something from our merch store, nerdride.shop like this. Open your eyes.
Bruh, I can't fucking wait. I just can't fucking wait. That sound, like, even him explaining it, it just seems so promising. The Russo brothers cooked again, bro. Bro. And, like, that's not even all of it, my nigga. That's not even all of it. Like, we still got surprises, nigga. We still got special people coming in, my nigga. You know how Marvel is. Oh my gosh, bro. When that trailer drop, bro, you know I'm gonna be right here, bro. Oh my gosh, bro.